Hey guys, this is me, Daniel Hutchins, and today we've been doing a mega long article discussion. And to start off a mega long article discussion, we are actually using articles from our friend Screen Rant. So today from Screen Rant, we are starting off with The Mandalorian. Yep, The Mandalorian Luke Skywalker scrutinized by voice effects artist. As you can see, there's a photo of him there. But of course, The Mandalorian brought the younger Luke Skywalker to life using deepfake technology, and now voice effects experts have shared their reaction to this process. This was a couple hours ago. So the voice effects process for the Mandalorian version of the Luke Skywalker gets a closer look from real special effects artists. This time last year, audiences were gearing up for the new season of Disney's Plus hits Star Wars series The Mandalorian. Nowadays, fans are eagerly awaiting news on Season 3, which won't arrive until well into 2022. With this hiatus stretching on, all that's left to do is reflect on the amazing moments of Mandalorian Season 2, such as the surprise arrival of Luke Skywalker in the finale. Luke came to the powerful young Grogu under his wing to a scene that left audiences in awe. Now, almost immediately after The Mandalorian Season 2 dropped, the internet was alight with debate over how this creative team pulled off Luke's return. Okay, so while the face was very clearly Hamill's, some kind of voice effects had to be put into making him look younger. The months following saw several online voice effects artists try their hand at improving the CGI that's restored Hamill's likeness, with some even given a result that seemed more impressive than the Mandalorian himself. Related to this article is why The Mandalorian Season 2 didn't use Mark Hamill's real voice for Luke. Okay, so the recent release for a special Disney's Gallery The Mandalorian episodes revealed more details about the Luke Skywalker scene, and the voice effects team corridor crew took the time to share their thoughts on the show's process. From what they determined, Hamill was merely on set to provide some reference points for this creative team, and the stand-in actor for The Mandalorian used deepfake technology to pull together Hamill's likeness. They combed through countless hours of Star Wars footage to find the best expressions, and a corridor crew member explained it like this. So there's a lot of nuance to what's happening behind the scenes, because they're not going to go deep into this and tell you that Mark Hamill didn't play young Luke Skywalker, but they are pointing out that they did have Mark Hamill on set. It's not like they're just somehow generating a 3D model of Mark Hamill's face, going whoop, and making it younger and sticking it back on any other actor. It's really just reference. I think the only actual thing to the final product was that you're seeing this as the film the young actor who's taken on the cues from both the director as well as Mark Hamill, and looks like they did a deep fake. They're then going in and layering the whole bunch of hand-based compositing on top of it. For those who want to see the entire discussion, it starts at 1 minute and 3 in the video below and goes until 7 minutes and 48 seconds. Alright, you can check out this video on YouTube. Considering how much time The Mandalorian had to complete the Luke Skywalker deepfake, which was considerably less than normal movie, it's impressive that the series managed to do what they did. At the same time, as the corridor crew pointed out, the process of layering multiple Hamills over each other pushed Luke into the uncanny valley. Somewhat. Now, The Mandalorian's voice effects were impressive, but under closer scrutiny, it doesn't entirely hold up. It remains to be seen if Luke will return to The Mandalorian in the future. Now, he's currently training Grogu, and many expect the popular type to pop up in the show again. Now, if he does, it stands to reason that Luke could be seen once more. Whether Lucasfilm decides to use CGI again isn't clear, though, at this point, it seems strange to consider recasting Hamill. The studio might have further refined its deepfake process by then, allowing for a better Luke. Fans will also have to wait and see what the future holds. Okay, and The Mandalorian Season 3 is supposed to premiere in 2022, like we said earlier. Okay, so now we are going into some other stuff. Okay, so now we're talking about Venom 2. So why Venom 2 has risked reliving Spider-Man's Iron Man problem. So the MCU Spider-Man is defined by his relationship to Tony Stark. Now if Venom 2 ties to Holland Spidey, this character may lose his individuality again. This was from several minutes ago. So if Venom, Let There Be Carnage connects directly to Spider-Man No Way Home, it could again shackle Tom Holland's MCU Spider-Man to another character rather than letting him stand on his own. After introducing the familiar character's new face in Phase 3, Marvel Studios has content to chaperone Holland with Tony Stark whenever possible. With the death of Iron Man, however, Spider-Man suddenly had to evolve to MCU Beyond, being defined by other characters. But as the Venom sequel has flirted with crossover potential, Spidey's independence is once again at risk. From the outset, Spider-Man has been an accessory character to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He was introduced in Civil War as Iron Man's deputized secret weapon, and in his debut MCU feature, Stark keeps constant tabs on his pet project. Now, while Spider-Man Far From Home provided the chance for growth, the specter of Iron Man still looms large over this film. Its title character, whereas Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies bore no narrative obligation to broader multimedia franchise. But the MCU counterpart is only just emerging as a robust character in his own right. This was where Venom's introduction could prove problematic. Related to this article is Spider-Man's self-made superhero or Tony Stark's sidekick. But we are not talking about that, we're talking about someone else. Just as Tom Holland's Spider-Man is emerging from the shadow of Tony Stark, Sony's sister series Venom threatens to return Peter Parker's alter ego to second-class status. Should Hardy unite on screen with Holland, when Spider-Man will again have his arc defined in development of external characters rather than his own. Although this prospect of the Venom movie featuring Spider-Man is undoubtedly an exciting prospect, there's also a very real possibility it could compromise Spidey's overall independence and hamper his growth within MCU. A great example of how successfully weave strong yet interconnected stories of Spider-Man character can be found in Spider-Man in Spider-Verse. The film's version of Miles Morales exists separately from other contemporary Spider-Man, but it spares no expense to surrounding him with support in the form of alternate universe versions of himself. Although there are many versions of himself, integrating designs and premise, the film centers Morales on sees him develop with help from but not dependence on outside characters. This was the lesson MCU should learn. To tie Tom Hardy's Venom into Tom Holland's Spider-Man would sacrifice what progress the latter has made in breaking new narratives from other prominent MCU character arcs. While Venom Let There Be Carnage may indulge Sony's long-standing wishes for a cinematic universe of their own, Spider-Man No Way Home will almost certainly rip Spidey from his independence just as he's starting to stand on his own. So there you go, guys. That is just a little bit of some information about how Venom 2 risked reliving Spider-Man's Iron Man problem. I just thought this was interesting because, like I said, it's very possible that if this does happen, Spider-Man might be taking a couple of steps back. Okay, so we are only almost 11 minutes in, and this mega long article discussion, I'm hoping to get at least a couple more articles. So, alright. So now we are talking about Flash movie image paints a lightning bolt on Keaton's Batman costume. Now the Flash director Andy Muschietti provides a new look at Michael Keaton's Batman costume, though this time it has a familiar lightning bolt. Okay, a new image from The Flash gives Michael Keaton's Batman suit a Finn and Barry Allen twist. Now the DC Extended Universe solo Flash movie has been in works for years, ever since Ezra Miller joined the franchise as Barry Allen. However, due to various creative issues, this film's been pushed back several times. The Flash began production earlier this year with the IT director, Andy Muschietti, at the helm. The movie is currently expected to open in theaters in November 2022, and it holds a very exciting supporting cast. Okay, so as The Flash is adapting the famous Flashpoint story for the comics, the film will feature additional DC heroes beyond Barry. This includes Supergirl, played by Sasha Calle, and two versions of Batman, Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck. Keaton's return in The Flash was announced last year and ignited a tidal wave of excitement among the fans. He'll be an older Bruce Wayne when audiences are probably used to, but he'll still don the cape and cowl. Related to this article is why the Flash movie's first shot echoing Tim Burton's Batman is so important. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about something else. So Muschietti has provided various teases and peeks at Keaton's costume over the course of filming. His latest was a unique twist. On Sunday, they posted another picture of Keaton's Batman suit, but this time it's spray painted over with Flash's signature red color and lightning bolt symbol. You can check out below. Of course, on my phone, it's not showing it, which is kind of fucking stupid, but you can check out the post here from Screen Rant. So it remains to be seen if this direct image from the Flash itself, though it seems unlikely, is anything, is almost suggests that Keaton's Batman suit could be refitted for Barry in the future. Overall message appears more thematic as far as promotional images go. This is a pretty great one. The combination of Batman and Flash symbols tease the heroes' upcoming team-up. They suggest they will be a formidable pair. It also seems to send the message that while the Flash is definitely Barry's story, Batman will play a large role in it. It could even hint that Batman's becoming a bigger talking point for the movie, though with Keaton involved, that was always likely what was going to happen. So Keaton is widely regarded as one of the best, if not the best, on-screen Batman actors of all time. He hasn't played since 1992 Batman Returns. There's a great deal of anticipation surrounding his DC Extended Universe debut, plus Keaton himself has often been open about his enthusiasm for The Flash. The Batman's well within it, which bodes well for the entire project. He has yet to be seen in his Batsuit, but when considering how many teases Muschietti provided, it wouldn't be surprising if the director decides to reveal Keaton's full Batman look well before this Flash movie arrives. Stay tuned for more updates. Okay? So before I forget, I am going to try to save this photo. Okay? Now, since I've saved the photo of the Flash being spray painted over the Batman suit, I'm probably going to share that to my social media later. Now, I want to try to find some more content because we are only about 15 minutes in. Okay. Okay, So now we are revisiting Loki again. So Loki's TVA are also known as the worst time cops in Marvel Comics. The worst time cops in Marvel Comics. The Time Varies Authority from Loki's a deadly organization. But they are also in comics, they are the absolute worst time cops in Marvel Universe. This was from a few hours ago. Warning, there are spoilers for Fantastic Four number 35. Okay, so Loki TVA is an elite fighting force that's dedicated to maintaining the sacred timeline from all costs. But in the comics, the same TVA is woefully incompetent, and the Time Varies Authority is well known by fans after their appearance in Marvel Cinematic Universe, but their comics incarnation is almost 40 years old. In their latest appearance from Fantastic Four number 35, written by Dan Slott, with art by John Romita Jr. and colors by Marty Garcia and Eric Archiniga. Now the TVA fails miserably at their job thanks to machinations of Kang the Conqueror. First appearing in Thor number 372 in 1986, the TVA monitors the Marvel Multiverse and previous humans and other beings from altering the past and disrupting the proper flow of time. Those found guilty are subject to execution via the retroactive canon, which is a weapon which erases the person's entire existence from the timeline. The many time travelers in the Marvel Universe makes the TVA job particularly difficult, but that's no excuse for sheer incompetence, something the TVA displays when witnessing the attack on the Fantastic Four by Kang. Related to this article is Marvel What If writer explains why TVA is absent from the show. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about something else. So when multiple Kangs from the Conqueror's history meet the Never Space, they hatch a plan to acquire one last great treasure known as the Prize. From the arc is a contest. Eliminate the Fantastic Four from multiple points from history, and along the way as Rama Tut, Kang the Scarlet Centaurian, and Mysterious Skyon each depart Never Space. Two justices from TVA received this alert in null space, the same being inserted himself in same timelines. 4 times over from that, it's what one of these justices call the continuality cascade. Okay, so 2 justices, Love and Peace, are flabbergasted and horrified, but ultimately there's very little they could do. Despite witnessing the killing of multiple Fantastic Four members before their eyes, Peace realizes that the TVA were to travel into Continuity Cascade, their time ships would be destroyed. Essentially, their organization that policies all time lacks the equipment to police all time together and arrive into Never Space. The matter has already been dealt with, the Kangs were defeated, Fantastic Four had simply sat back on a battlefield, waiting for the TVA, 8 time travelers in one place. Amuses Reed Richards, his plan involving pulled members of Fantastic Four from every era, targeted by the Kangs, with 4 of them transposed over their own timelines. I was expecting you sooner. To add insult to the injury, the TVA drops the ball one final time by mentioning a future event which Reed Richards takes the prize with him over the protestations of the TVA Justice. Fellow Justice says, "The last thing we want to do is get into it with Mr. Fantastic. Not right before the reckoning, though." But Reed was yet to experience the Reckoning War, and so the TVA has just effectively told Reed his own future, which was a massive slip-up from the Time Police organization. Perhaps the TVA in comics ought to learn a thing or two about the incarnation from Loki. They're much more incompetent than the justices who failed to aid the Fantastic Four. Okay. Alright. So that's just a little bit about why the Loki TVA is Marvel's worst time cops ever in comics. Well, probably they are the only worst time cops in comics. Alright, so that's like whatever, it's fine. It's like that's all done. So I'm gonna do one more article and then we're gonna close this off. We just have to find something. Okay, so DC's revealed it's a new era. It's basically a war on Marvel. Now, DC and Marvel's always been competitors for top comics, but recently, though, DC's full-on declared war on Marvel and their stories. This was an hour ago. Warning, there are spoilers ahead for Infinite Frontier number 6. As the two biggest names ever in comics, DC and Marvel compete often, whether it's for prestige in industry or growing a reader base. Both publishers frequently clash and battle to strive to outdo each other, using their distinct styles of storytelling. DC Comics, however, has all but revealed that its latest era, spearheaded by Infinite Frontier, is an open war on Marvel. In the new Infinite Frontier series by Joshua Williamson and Paul Pelletier, Darkseid has launched his first attack against the various Earths of the multiverse with the help of Psycho Pirate and Machine Head. As Darkseid's misled the captured several heroes, including Barry Allen, Roy Harper, Flashpoint, Batman, readers were exposed to several bits of new information regarding how DC's new Omniverse works, how various characters are reacting to the fact that the boundaries between realities are so thin nowadays. Particularly, readers learn how several alternate realities resent Earth Zero. Previously Earth Prime, the main continually as Earth Zero remains relatively intact, while other realities suffer and perish the result of DC's several crises. Related to this article is DC just admitted Marvel Comics' biggest strength. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about something else. So Machine Head in particular shoulders from a lot of resentment for his Darkseid and Psycho Pirate's help. This former hero from Earth 8 assembled a team of like-minded characters to oppose the Justice Incarnate team. As Machine Head fights President Superman, he explains the Flash is responsible for the corruption of his world. When Flash created the Flashpoint Paradox, the cracks in the fabric of reality affected the entire multiverse, which in turn made Machine Head's world harder, darker. Machine Head argues that the multiverse should remain separate, lest all the alternate Earths suffer again, because of Earth Zero's actions. From the same time, Flash being fed false, hopeful realities by Psycho Pirate to keep him running on Darkseid's cosmic treadmill and tunnel through the fabrics of the multiverse. The same kind of realities readers can refer from Machine Head came from. Okay. So I'm going to try to save another photo. At least I'm going to try to save another photo, which I'll save to my social media later. Okay, so as Machine Head is the prestige of Iron Man, it's evident that the critique he offers is that if Marvel told as many darker stories as DC did, with the frequency that matches, it would lose its appeal. That said, dark stories do have their place, and when done well, can contribute positively in the comics. Now, the emotional impact of dark stories, as evidenced by Flashpoint, an ongoing story with Thomas Wayne Batman, can ultimately far outweigh the gratifications of safe, saturnine, and overly hopeful stories where the good guys always would win, without the significant cost. The comic ends with Flash finding Multiverse 2, which was the original multiverse destroyed by the Anti-Monitor. The space's sole inhabitant is now the mysterious Parara. Parara traps Barry Allen in an alternate world where everything was perfect for him, including his mother being alive. While this might seem like kindness without all the darkness in Barry's life, he couldn't have become Flash, and he couldn't have matured into the man he was. But while dark superhero stories can be tragic and uncomfortable, ultimately all the heroes' readers love, important growth opportunities, and genuine adversity and hardship, making it much more relatable. DC and Marvel have always competed as two of the largest publishers ever in the comic book universe. While their rivalry and competition has often made tongue-in-cheek appearances in both the publishers' comics, DC has recently raised the bar by admitting through the Infinite Frontier that their new approach to continuity is in direct opposition to Marvel Comics' general tone and storytelling. So there you go, guys. That's just a little bit of some information that's been revealed from DC, saying that DC's revealed its new era is basically a war over Marvel. If you guys like this content, please hit that thumbs up button. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. And you have a wonderful, wonderful night. Bye.